Listen carefully. What I'm about to share might sound unsettling, but it's crucial that you maintain complete silence for the upcoming 3 days. The repercussions of breaking this silence are permanent and cannot be undone. Forget everything you've learned about vocal expression, sharing your thoughts, or speaking your mind. During these final 3 days of August, these actions become perilous. Traditional wisdom no longer holds true. What typically strengthens you will now weaken you. What usually shields you will now leave you vulnerable. And here's the most challenging truth to accept. These concluding days require the chosen ones to embrace silence, not expression. A hidden transformation is occurring, and only those who remain quiet will survive it. If you can suppress the desire to justify, debate, or reveal, you'll witness what others fail to see. But failure to maintain silence will haunt you well beyond August's end. If you truly understood the events unfolding in August's final 3 days, you'd realize silence isn't a choice anymore. The last 3 days of August stand apart from the rest of the year. You can sense it. There's a palpable shift in the atmosphere. This goes beyond seasonal transitions or preparations for new schedules and academic years. It's more profound. Even skeptics of supernatural phenomena will notice these days underlying tension. People everywhere appear agitated, irritable, and volatile. A single thoughtless remark could trigger a sequence of events lasting weeks or even months. That's all it takes, one spark. From an astrological perspective, these concluding days are laden with communication mishaps, emotional intensification, and energies that transform words into destructive forces. This is why silence transcends mere protection. It becomes a source of strength. Music. During August's final 3 days, the world becomes unfair. It will challenge, antagonize, and test you, anticipating your reaction. Simple discussions will feel like carefully laid traps. Random drivers will frustrate you on the road. Relatives will test your patience. Even media coverage will seem deliberately crafted to provoke an emotional response. This isn't coincidental. A deeper force is at work, expertly designed to tempt you into breaking your silence. Every word uttered during this period carries unprecedented significance. Once spoken, it's irreversible. This is precisely the trap awaiting the chosen ones. You might feel compelled to stand your ground, provide explanations, or release pent-up feelings. However, such expressions would only destroy what's being silently constructed. The instant you respond, you surrender your power. That's why this represents the ultimate challenge. Picture yourself standing amidst chaos, with everyone demanding your response. The authentic chosen one is the individual who resists the urge to engage. They possess the strength to remain motionless, while chaos swirls around them, attempting to pull them into its disruptive vortex. For it is only those who embrace stillness who will successfully traverse this unseen gateway. And once you cross this threshold, everything transforms fundamentally. Here's the challenging revelation. The majority of people in your circle will remain oblivious to the profound shifts occurring in these concluding days of August. They'll continue their routine, waking up, mindlessly scrolling through social media, sipping their morning coffee, grumbling about traffic congestion, and proceeding through life as if everything remains unchanged. They'll miss the electric tension permeating the atmosphere. They won't experience the intense spiritual magnetism that you feel so deeply, and when you attempt to articulate it, they'll dismiss it, respond with mockery, or worse, try to convince you it's all in your imagination. This is precisely why your silence holds such significance. Silence serves as a guardian of the sacred. There's no need to convince anyone of your truth, no requirement to validate your heightened awareness, and certainly no necessity for their approval to trust your intuitive knowing. Consciousness creates the distinction between those who are spiritually awake and those who remain in slumber. And you, chosen one, possess sufficient awareness to recognize that these final 3 August days are extraordinary. Consider this analogy. Imagine being the sole person who perceives an approaching tempest. While others bask carelessly in the sunshine, you're quietly making preparations, securing windows, reinforcing doors. They might label you as paranoid or ridicule your precautions. Yet when the storm finally unleashes its fury, you'll be sheltered in safety. This perfectly illustrates what silence represents during these days, a form of preparation beyond their comprehension. Here's the essential truth. It's not your responsibility to make them understand. Attempting explanations now only depletes your energy and disperses your concentration. Some might even manipulate your words against you, using them to fuel discord, spread rumors, or create confusion. That's why silence becomes your protective barrier. In stillness, no one can misappropriate your energy. Let them misinterpret your actions. Let them question your quietness, your apparent withdrawal, your refusal to participate in the usual chaos. Your awareness suffices. Your perception validates itself. External confirmation is unnecessary. The moment you realize their incomprehension becomes irrelevant, you'll understand that those who can't sense the shift were never destined to share your journey. These concluding August days extend beyond mere conflict avoidance. They reveal who truly deserves your trust. Here's the stark reality. The surrounding noise cannot be trusted. The world is transforming more rapidly than most can comprehend. Established systems, ingrained patterns, traditional authority figures, all are disintegrating in real time, yet they'll desperately vie for your attention, feeding you partial truths, diversions, and fear simply to maintain their hold. Seeking answers from the external world now will only lead to bewilderment. From politicians to media, colleagues to family members, each will attempt to project their uncertainties, fears, and inner turmoil onto your path. Remember this: true guidance emerges from silence, not from noise. That's why self-trust becomes your most powerful ally during these 3 transformative days. Deep within you resides an unfailing compass, and though its voice may be gentle, it invariably points toward truth. Silence amplifies this inner wisdom. The fewer words you speak, the more clearly you hear. The less you react, the more distinctly your authentic truth emerges. When the world bombards you with countless contradictory directions, your silence becomes the beacon that pierces through the confusion. This isn't about fearfully withdrawing. Rather, it's about recognizing that your inner guidance remains the only unwavering authority. While systems fluctuate and relationships evolve, this internal truth stands unchanging. These closing days of August aren't seeking external validation. They're about acknowledging that you already possess the answers that external noise attempts to obscure. Yes, initial discomfort may arise. Doubt might whisper, questioning your choice to remain silent and step back. Yet each time you choose self-trust over reactive chaos, you strengthen an unbreakable core within. This fortitude will sustain you not just through these immediate days, but well into the future that awaits. Silence forms the bridge connecting the dissolving present to the emerging truth. Here's what most misunderstand about transformation. They expect it through grand, dramatic gestures. Abandoning careers, ending relationships, or relocating across continents. But in these final August days, the universe measures not your bold declarations, but your smallest intentional actions. In this unique energetic window, even minimal movements create profound ripples. Consider this metaphor. A single water droplet seems insignificant, yet when it touches a perfectly still lake, its waves reach every shore. These days represent that still lake, the energy heightened, amplified, and delicately balanced. This is precisely why a mindfully taken small step, a newly established boundary, a chosen moment of stillness, or a quietly spoken truth becomes a declaration resonating far beyond these 3 days. The beauty lies in its simplicity. Perhaps your small step involves declining something that depletes you, or granting yourself permission to rest while others chase chaos. Maybe it's maintaining silence when provocation beckons, even as every fiber of your being urges confrontation. Whatever form it takes, these actions become evidence of your alignment. They demonstrate your attentiveness and readiness. During transitional periods, seemingly minor actions transform into powerful signals. The magnitude of the step isn't what matters. It's the energetic resonance that truly matters. A single aligned action signals to the universe your conscious awareness of the shift and your willingness to flow with it. It communicates to the subtle forces orchestrating these final moments that you've deliberately chosen conscious movement over mindless drifting. And in that precise instant, an irreversible internal transformation occurs. For here lies the hidden truth. Once you take that initial step, the gateway expands. Each subsequent choice flows with greater ease. The path forward gains clarity. The silence you've been harboring begins communicating in unexpected frequencies. What began as a barely perceptible action transforms into the catalyst unlocking your next life chapter. So never dismiss the significance of a subtle shift right now. Never consider it too insignificant to create change. In these contemplative moments, a single choice holds the power to revolutionize everything. One quiet step can resonate more powerfully than years of clamor. Here's what often goes unrecognized. Your silence doesn't merely shield you, it destabilizes others. When you cease speaking, those in authority positions, supervisors, educators, even family patriarchs and matriarchs, experience distinct unease. Authority sustains itself through your responses. It thrives on your justifications, your remorse, your replies. But in these concluding August days, by withholding words, you disrupt their familiar narrative. Silence isn't passive submission. It's active resistance. Consider this deeply. When you refuse to provide expected responses, when you step out of prescribed roles, you challenge the entire power dynamic. A superior might demand immediate feedback. A parent could become frustrated by your non-engagement. Even intimate partners might question your reserved stance. That palpable tension, that silence actively reconstructing power balances. This reveals why current silence transcends mere self-protective strategy. It represents a subtle rebellion against systems and individuals who subconsciously expect to direct your energy. It quietly shifts control back to you without requiring verbal expression. As you maintain this silence, reality's true nature gradually unveils itself. August's final days aren't peaceful waters. They embody a storm. Not the visible atmospheric kind, but the type felt as pressure in your chest, spinning through your thoughts, shaking your emotional foundations. When this storm arrives, most follow familiar patterns. They vocalize. They release. They dispute. They protest. They transform their discomfort into words, believing verbal expression will dissolve their unease. But now this response becomes the snare. Not every storm requires verbal navigation. Some storms demand silent endurance. These concluding days represent a test, a spiritual passage. They pose one essential question. Can you maintain your stillness while turbulence surrounds you? Because this tempest isn't arbitrary. It's orchestrated to extract reactions, testing if you'll fracture your silence and disperse your strength into meaningless sound. Each impulsive word now drains your essence, while every silent moment amplifies your power. Envision this: unexpected messages igniting drama, conflicts emerging from trivial misinterpretations, circumstances testing your composure until you nearly break. That's the tempest strategy, attempting to provoke you. It recognizes the potency of your silence, so it employs every tactic to dissolve your resolve. In these concluding days of August, the energy of delay intensifies. Seeds are being planted in unseen realms. The choices you make now, even seemingly insignificant ones, are creating ripple effects that will only become visible in the weeks or months ahead. Yet your human mind yearns for immediate validation. It seeks concrete evidence, reassurance that your chosen path is correct, that your quiet restraint carries meaning. However, this very desire for instant confirmation becomes the barrier to true alignment. Consider a farmer tending to his seed. If he constantly unearths it to check for growth, he disrupts the natural process of development. The soil requires stillness, the seed demands darkness, and the roots need time to establish themselves. Your journey through these final days mirrors this process. Your silence becomes the nurturing soil, your restraint transforms into fertile ground, and your trust flows like life-giving water. While the surface may appear dormant, beneath it, transformation unfolds. When you release the need to rush, destiny accelerates toward you. This reveals why patience transcends mere virtue to become a spiritual shield. It maintains your connection with divine timing, preventing collapse under artificial deadlines. Yes, discomfort may arise. These moments might tempt you to demand signs, initiate conversations, or force outcomes. But consider this: what if the universe intentionally withholds answers while preparing your spirit? What if these delays serve as protection, ensuring that your manifestations arrive only when you've developed the strength to sustain them? Silence isn't an empty void. It's sacred space where destiny orchestrates itself on your behalf. While everything might appear stagnant, this is merely an illusion. Beneath the surface, cosmic threads interweave, doorways align, individuals move into position, and opportunities flow toward you. However, these cannot manifest if your persistent knocking drowns out the subtle rhythms of the universe. Your noise can disrupt the delicate flow, highlighting why silence holds such significance. It cultivates anxiety-free waiting, proof-independent trust, and steady energy maintenance until the harvest reaches maturity. When you abandon the urge to rush, alignment naturally follows. When you cease pursuit, your destined experiences can finally reach you. Through embracing patience, you discover that delays weren't punishments but necessary preparation. As August draws to a close, hold this truth: your silence carries purpose, your patience bears fruit, and what appears as void actually nurtures new beginnings. Soon, the hidden will emerge, perfectly timed, unstoppable, and undeniable. Patience speaks the universe's language, communicating through divine timing rather than urgent demands. Silence often creates a sense of solitary journey. In a world overflowing with constant noise, where everyone broadcasts their thoughts, opinions, and endless chatter, choosing quietude might feel like self-imposed exile. You might wonder, is this solitary path unique to me? Am I walking this journey alone? But the reality extends far beyond your personal experience. Though your footsteps may seem solitary, countless others traverse this same sacred path. Throughout the globe, in corners you'll never visit, in lives that may never directly intersect with yours, others are embracing this identical choice. At this very moment, countless souls are stepping into that same sacred silence. They're releasing their need for explanation. They're transcending reactive impulses. They're anchoring themselves in profound stillness. Some navigate through bustling metropolitan chaos. Others reside in tranquil villages, experiencing the identical inner calling you feel. And though physically separate, you're intrinsically connected. Each individual contributes to an ethereal network of consciousness, woven together through this collective act of conscious restraint. This is how transformation manifests in the collective consciousness, not through grand gestures or loud proclamations, but through intimate personal choices made by individuals who choose inner wisdom over external noise.